And probably the quickest and the laziest way to take this off is I'll just use my resistance solder and pull them right off. And that doesn't line up, so I'm going to take these wires out of here too, and I'll replace them. There's all that off. And now I will shape these and solder them on. Alright, I got the domes all cut up and they fit perfectly to shape. And I was going to solder on some, I was going to put them on and put on some piping going down to, from the sand boiler, sand dome, down to the drivers. I was going to put 2 lines, and I realized I want to put kind of a tread or something on here, so it's not just regular flat brass. And but then I also have to take the cab off, and I thought, while I'm doing that, I might as well, you know, I got to take off this cheesy pump here, and I'm probably not going to use this, so I'm going to take it off. So basically, I'm going to strip this all down even further. And but first I'm going to see what I got for tread here. I used a bunch of this stuff for a roundhouse Sn3 280, and so I don't have enough of this, but it's a type I don't really want to use. There's an overland one here. This one I could have used, but I think it's too narrow for what we need. I need it a lot wider than that. It's kind of a diamond style. I found all these, no good, too small, and then I found this. Yes! This is diamond tread, and you probably won't be able to see it, but it is just gonna moor there. But it is actually diamond tread. Before I do that, just so I don't have to think harder, I'm just gonna start taking these parts off. Take the cab off, take this off, take off that, the pump and the this thing, 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 this thing. So it's not exactly how I thought I was going to take the cab off. I was hoping the cab was going to lift, but whatever, I'll solder these back on after. I guess that's the way it's gonna go. I'll just solder them back on later. It's funny once you take everything apart, you start to wonder, what did I buy this model for? I could have just bought a boiler and a chassis. Oh well. Yeah, so I'm gonna maybe I will take advantage of these being off. Whew, those are hot. And maybe put the tread on now, which is probably a smart idea. I'm going to put the tread on now, and then I'll solder them back on to the Loco boiler. Nice little cab. You don't need to do much modifications to use it again. It's nice that it actually came off complete like this. I could actually use this for another model, just extend the bottom a little bit longer, and then you got yourself an Sn3 cab again. So I'll probably use this for something. It's not a bad cab. Alright, now that everything is shattered into a million pieces, I'm gonna drill out the I'm gonna leave these air tanks. Oh, I just like them. I'm gonna drill little holes on either end of them to put some plumbing in, and just so it's done now. Oh man, okay, so these look really good. They are finished. You see the diamond grid on there. I went with the small grid. I was comparing a, what was it? I think it was a PFM C16 Sn3, and they were using diamond grid on the back step. It was the exact same size, and I thought it was the small one looked best. So there it is. That's on. Man, they look so good. Can't really maybe tell, but now they are ready to get soldered back onto the boiler. Oh man, these look really great. So I guess I'll explain a little bit on the soldering process what I did. I burnt the crap out of this, but my cutting board. So what I did was I just took my regular soldering gun and I put a thin, super thin coat of solder on here on the board, and then I cut out the shape I needed. Of course I'm using flux as well, and then I just pinched one end so that it was held, and I turned it over and just used my resistant soldering and held that down just to get it going. And then I could remove this because it was tacked here, and I just simply put it there and just held down and soldered it, and then cooled it, switched, soldered it until it was cool. Yeah, that's it. Alright, there it is on the boiler. Got that back together. And now time to put the domes on. Wow, now that is really starting to come back together as it falls apart. But having the domes on there and with the new tread on the boards and everything, that's the old cab. They don't have the other one ready yet, but just for showing. But it's man, that's really starting to look really nice. Add a little fitting to come down and then split into two. I got a million of them. I can either use HO or I might even have some Sn3 versions. Doesn't really matter. If they had HO, they'll be oversized anyways. So I'll have it split and then go down. I'm going to drill 2 holes and have them feed down. Same as on this side. I'll probably do the air pump. Not sure what side I want to do that. I have a smaller, I think it's 11-inch pump I'll use. So they'll get put on there and then I'll plumb them. I'll probably do the plumbing for this, and for the sand domes I'll do everything after, once I get the hard pieces on. I might get a different motor. I might get a shorter motor as well. One that would come to about here. Be a lot of juice for it, but I mean, it's a small loco. If I put a small motor in it, I just want a little more space so I can extend the boiler back here and add in backhead details. I had this mini motor, this was a Fairbearer or whatever mini motor, and it just non-stop squeaked, and no matter what I did, I tried pulling it apart 1,000 ways. I could take the gearbox off, but it's still just, I could not stop it from squeaking. I have one other one in a Shay, does the exact same thing. These are, I know everybody loves them, but they're terrible motors. They just seem to squeak, at least the 2 that I got. So anyways, I ended up taking it out and replacing it with a Sagami, and this thing runs perfect. So tiny little Sagami, and this allows me to have some room so I can have the backhead come not all the way to the end of the cab, but more room for the guys to walk around inside. So the backhead will start there. So that's done, and now I'm going to start working on the backhead. Now the fun actually begins. I love detailing locos. I don't like so much doing the motors and stuff, but now it's all the fun stuff, decorating. So I have this round piece of brass. I'm just going to, on one end, I'm just going to squash it so it fits this this backhead that's not a perfect circle, and then solder it as I go. I might have to, I'm not just exactly sure how I'll do it, but do a lot of squishing and forming, and then get that soldered on there. So I bent up this piece and it fits on there perfectly. All I did was I just squashed here and here so it gets a little flat on the sides to match, and then I just crimped in here and crimped in here. You can see the marks just to get that weird shape, and then that just fits right there, and I'm going to solder it on. Fits perfectly, and then I'm going to cut down here, cut this piece out, and that's where the motor will go up inside there. I'm going to solder it on first so everything's nice and firm.